Concept 2, solving quadratic equations using square roots. Alright, so this method, using square roots to solve quadratic equations, works in some situations, but there is a situation where we don't really want to use this method. It's just going to be messy, or in some cases doesn't work at all. Okay, and that's really a pretty common one. It is wherever you have a second term, right? Wherever you have a value of b, coefficient of b that's not 0. Okay, so if we have an x in there, we're not going to use this method, at least not yet. We are going to see how we can apply this method to a problem like this in the next video, or sorry, the next lesson. But for right now, we are going to just be using this on some quadratic equations that kind of fit this method. Okay, so the ones where we can use this, where it works, are, we've got an x squared equals a number. We just got done doing those. It's pretty straightforward. You end up with a positive or negative square root of something, or if this value is a perfect square, a positive or negative integer. Okay. Sometimes you'll have to simplify first. Right, in this case, add 12 to both sides. Excuse me. I'd have x squared is equal to 16. Okay. X squared is equal to 16. And then that would give me x is equal to plus or minus square root of 16 or 4. All right. We can have a situation where we have a coefficient on x squared, right, where our a is not just 1. And in that case, we are going to take the square root of both sides. But in this case, first we've got to simplify. We've got to move our 49 over. So I add 49 to both sides. And then I have 9x squared is equal to 49. I can take the square root of both sides. Remember, I do have to take the square root of both my x squared and the coefficient, so this becomes 3x is equal to plus or minus 49. Okay, and then plus or minus the square root of 49, which is 7. Okay, and then just like normal, divide by 3, and I get my zeros as either positive 7/3 or negative 7/3. Okay, so basically with all of these, I'm ending up with zeros that are opposites, right? Positive or negative 4, positive or negative 7/3, positive or negative the square root of 7. Okay, this last case gives me a little bit different answer. Okay, I've got my binomial factor. Okay, I'm squaring both x plus 5, and so right now I am ready to get the square root of that, and I think I'm going to change this just so it's easier, so we can work with integers to be 25. So if I get the square root of both sides, I've got x plus 5 equals the square root, or positive or negative square root of 25, which is 5. Okay, and here, just like when we were working with absolute values, right, we break into our two cases. That's what I've got to do. I basically have x plus 5 equals 5, and x plus 5 equals negative 5. Okay, in both of these, to isolate x, I subtract 5, and I end up with x equals 0, and x equals negative 10. Okay, And those are going to be my zeros for this quadratic equation. So if I took this equation and graphed it out, it would cross the x-axis at 0 and -10.